It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney.
Louis Stevens,
Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, you know, I'm a real estate retail guy. You know, that's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, you know, we're gonna do it. You know, sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, it's has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy ending.
Right.
So you say one of the commenters asked, one of our subscribers asked about Big Ed Hanserd?
That's correct.
Yeah, what I know of Big Ed, I personally never met the man. My daddy did a little time with him. Well, whenever you guys will see it, you will have heard. At the end of that run with Mr. B and that big plug who was coming out of the Bahamas, at the end of that, the old man ends up catching a pistol, a gun charge. Feds run up in this joint. They find a bunch of money, $40,000-$50,000, and a pistol. Pops is on probation now from the original case with Eddie back in the 70s. He's out on probation. Parole, actually. So anyway, when he's on that gun violation thing, before they sent him to Springfield, Missouri is where he ended up doing those 18 months for the gun violation. In transit, he ends up dealing with Big Ed, or meeting Big Ed. Big Ed locked up, I don't know, on some gun charges. You know, Ed and them niggas. Ed was at war with Demetrius and Maserati Rick and them guys on the east side. They was getting all that money, and they just, for some reason, decided that they had to keep shooting and trying to kill each other. But the smallness of the world, so when the old man meets Big Ed, my cousins, again, that's why I changed the name. Some of my cousins are doing some things now that I'm not going to put their name out there. But I cared about some of them because I passed. So God rest his soul, cousin Cornell. God rest his soul, cousin Tony. Two of my cousins that raised me, they had went off doing their own thing, but they still also hustling with the old man. Well, they plug was Big Ed. So what we didn't connect, or the old man and well, actually, let me take that back, because Pop says actually over at Lala and Tony's spot, he had met Big Ed because my cousins Tony and Lala is featured in the documentary Motown Mafia, the story of Eddie Jackson and Courtney Brown. Cousin Lala and Tony over at their spot over off Evergreen, they was working both bags. They working our bag coming out the Bahamas with Mr. B, and by this time, they're working Big Ed Hanserd's bag also. Now, I don't know at this point whether Big Ed and Demetrius is still doing business or if they had fell out yet. But what I do know, at that point, so cousin Tony and cousin Lala introduced my father to Big Ed over at their spot on Evergreen. So a couple years passed now. Big Ed and the old man paths cross again. Old man in transit on his way to Springfield. Big Ed awaiting trial. And the old man has just told me the conversation. So, you know, the old man that did time with Demetrius when Eddie's father put Demetrius on or you know, really started to groom Demetrius. That was at a period where they were all locked up at Milan. So the old man know Demetrius, you know, obviously Demetrius is Eddie's man, Eddie Sr.'s man, and then would become Eddie Jr.'s man. And Demetrius had did the old man a couple favors, you know, the big man actually had asked, the old man was going through some things and had asked Demetrius to look out for the old man, and he did. So the old man, then he trying to tell, hey, what is wrong with y'all niggas, man? Y'all making all this money, and y'all just insist on doing all this killing and shooting. but that's that East Side thing. And he told Big Ed, because Ed ended up going away. That's the case, actually. Big Ed ended up going away and having to sit down. But so that's a brief period. Him and the old man did. They never hustled directly together, through our cousin Tony and cousin Lala, God rest their soul. We did, because a couple times when Ed would be out, cousin Tony and cousin Lala would come get some big bags from the old man. We didn't know at the time they was getting the bag. It was Big Ed's money. And then sometimes when the old man would be in between a shipment from the islands, he would reach out to cousin Tony, cousin Lala, and say, whoever y'all dealing with, they got something. And they always did, and it was always good. And that was Big Ed's bag. So that's kind of how that went. So we was, Detroit's a very small city at that level. When you're as my man out there, shout out to top of the food chain. When you're at the top of the food chain, it ain't that many people that you eat with. Big Ed hustler, again, it's not over exaggerated. When he was doing his thing, he was doing his thing. And again, I never met the man personally. Both my first cousins, Tony and Lala, I did know him real well. And, the old man definitely tried to breathe in his ear and tell him to put that pistol shit down. And, if it's some kind of way for you and Demetrius to end that shit, y'all should. But unfortunately, it didn't play out that way. But I hear he's home, so that's a good thing. That's Big Ed. That's true, another Detroit legend. Somebody should do some stuff on him. I don't know what he's doing now. So, good question, Big Ed Hanserd.
All right, and